Well, hello friends. Today we're going to work on line wrapping in the text editor. So this is something that people have been bringing up, and it's a feature that we should really have. So by line wrapping, I mean that if we open a file like, say, like the big kernel map, then as you can see, the text disappears to the right over here, and we have to scroll. And then some lines in this document are incredibly long. I don't really know where they are, but there was one. Yeah, it would be cool if the editor would know how to just wrap these lines if they become too long, so that we can read the whole document without having to scroll horizontally. And I guess that would be like a useful feature in general to have, but we'll start with implementing it in the text editor widget. So I guess the way we're going to do this is by so each line of text is currently what we have is this line class, which is subclass of, or not a subclass, it's a child class of the gText editor object. So it lives inside here. It's a private thingy, one line is like one line of text in the physical representation, like in the file, right? But now we want each of these lines to be able to have multiple visual lines, I guess. And we should, those visual lines will be broken up at arbitrary points, like when you resize the widget, for instance. Then we will have to re-break all of the lines. And I guess that it would be useful if we compute the rect of each of these lines. Like once we know where the line breaks are, then we can break it up into lines, and then we can compute the bounding rect for the whole line, because that would allow us to do stuff like testing, like where you click, like which line did you click on, stuff like that. Okay, so I think what we're gonna need here is a vector of unsigned, like where are the line breaks? Visual line breaks, we'll call it that. And we'll say rect and visual rect. I can put these at the bottom here. Visual line breaks, right. Then we just have to compute those. And this should probably be a setting in the text editor widget. So let's start with that actually. So bool is okay. And then in the text editor app, let's just go ahead and create this thing with line wrapping enabled from the start. So we'll do it right here. True. Okay. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to compute, I guess, so we would have something like recompute visual lines. something like that. And then we just have to call this on each line when it's relevant. Compute visual. And then we're gonna need, we can put something in the widget, in the text editor widget itself, like recompute visual lines. We'll call it like recompute all visual lines. Okay, and then the way that we are gonna use this is that we're just gonna, let's see. Did update selection, update content size. Like, I'm thinking, where should we call this? I guess set text. We should probably call it here. So, update visual. Isn't that what I call it? Wait, where the heck was I? Oh, recompute. Right, recompute all. Okay, so let's put that here. I think after we update the content size, it's going to be important because the visual lines are going to be dependent on what the size available for content is. Okay, and then blah, blah, blah. And where's somewhere else where we need to do this? I guess if you provide some input, it seems like here we have decided to do some kind of input, like if we're doing a backspace, maybe we should be really, really comfortable here. I'll use a scope guard. And we'll just say, how does this work again? I think this is just like that, basically. So this thing, it will just, however we exit the scope here, we will recompute all the visual lines. Because everything above here is navigation. So like, this isn't perfect. Fix me, this isn't perfect. It will recompute visual lines too often, even needed. Find a way to recompute less. But I would think this should get us going for all the input. And then we also need to deal with the resize event. And maybe that's it. Or what happens in like paste action? Paste. Insert at cursor. Okay, we'll do it in paste and cut. This isn't perfect. There should be a different way of doing this. Like we should have some callback or something like content changed. Don't we have that? It did change. Oh, well. Maybe that's what we should be calling. Did change. Or that's where we should be hooking this. So, okay, maybe this was stupid because we already have to change. Okay, so let's see. Let's just put it in to change. Compute. Okay, and we still have it in resize event though. All right, so how is this going to work? Well, we're going to have this function, and then we're also going to have text editor line recompute visual lines. And I guess this one is easy because he just needs to do yeah, there we go. It's easy enough. Okay, and then here we wanted to compute the visual rect and the visual line breaks. So those are the things that we want to compute here. So I guess we'll just iterate over the text and see how much we can put on each line. So that depends on how wide the line is, which means that available width is visible text rect in inner coordinates. Sounds great. Dot width. It's a static function. What? Wait, hold on. Oh shit! Right, it's the editor function, not a line function. I'm still in the line class here. Okay. So we'll say m. We should cache this. We'll say. I think that's a computed value. Well, yeah, but actually that's not so bad. We can just do this. Okay. And then we'll say width line width so far. This would have to be the glyph width is. I mean, this thing is fixed width only, so maybe we can take advantage of that. Although it would be nice to support variable width fonts in a text editor widget as well. So maybe we should calculate the glyph width here. So character at, no, not character at. How the heck do I get the character in this thing? Characters. Okay. Editor dot font dot glyph width for this glyph. And I guess we could put this in a ch variable like that. Say auto. And then if line width so far plus glyph width would be greater than available width. We got a break here. And so and visual line breaks. And so this, we should clear this when we start, actually. I guess we'll append I, since where we break. And then line width so far is 0. And then we can just continue. Otherwise, we'll just keep accumulating. So we'll say line width so far plus equals glyph width. Okay. And then the visual rect. How the hell do we compute that? I guess we can't know that here. We'll have to do that here. So let's see. Visual rect. The y offset, I guess, is the important part because it's like where the previous line ended. So let's see. Start at 0. Y offset. I guess we could do that here actually. So we can say like m visual rect, and we'll make a new rect, but we don't position it. We just set the size of it. So we'll say 0, 0. Available width, and the height will be m visual line breaks dot size times measure font glyph for line height. There we go. Okay. Set y is y offset. Line and visual rect height. Okay. Right. I think this feels vaguely right. And then I guess we want to paint these lines. So maybe the easiest way to do that is to just have a helper function that walks all of the visual lines inside of a line. So that would be something like and actually we don't have to implement that here. We can just put that here instead. Let's see, for line break. So the line view, we're going to make string view for this line. So that would be something like string view. And I guess our characters plus visual line break. Wait, does this make sense? No, this doesn't make sense. We'll have something like this instead. And start of line. maybe unsigned even. And then, what did I put in this thing? Unsigned, yeah. Visual line break. I don't know view is string view characters plus start of line. And the length is visual line break minus start of line. Callback with the view. And I guess, let's see, line index, and start of line is equal to visual line break and maybe we should compute the rect for this. So line view and visual line rect. Yeah. Okay, so the rect is x0, y is line index times mEditor line height. And actually we can use the visual rect here. X. Okay, this looks weird, so let's do it this way instead. And visual rect, mEditor line height. Let's see, is that how we compute this? So, oh, I guess maybe these should be ints to things compute. Okay. Okay. So the visual line rect is the visual rect of the lines, x value, and the width is always the same, but then the y coordinate of each visual line starts at an offset into the total line rect. This feels vaguely right. Okay, and then I guess where we want to use this is in the paint code. So basically, excuse me. So maybe we should have if line wrapping is enabled, then we just do this other thing here. We'll figure out how to merge this code later, but right now we gotta do this. So wait, what the hell did I call it? For each visual line, right? And I have to compute, I mean, if I can compute the first visible line and the last visible line, then I don't need to do it this way. So that's actually okay. It's just that for these things, so the way that it works right now is that we figure out like what's the topmost visible line and the bottommost visible line in the editor, and then we only draw those lines. So that makes it possible to open like a really long file and it doesn't choke when trying to paint, because it only paints what's in the viewport. And the way that we compute the first to last visible line is that we call text position at, which we're going to have to implement anyway, so I guess we can just do that. Let's see. Text position at, and I guess we don't have to worry so much about alignment right now. That's like something that we can deal with later. So let's only worry about the normal left aligned text at the moment. So let's see, the line index here, the way that we compute that is just not going to work. Line index, content X for position, what is that even? Column index. Okay, so this is gonna need some fixing here. I guess we can start with that. So the line index if is line wrapping enabled, else I mean, this one still makes sense, because if we hit a line that's outside of the document, then we just clip it to the document length. Okay. Wait, no. Oh yeah, this is how it's gonna work. So if it contains the position, line index is this line, which we don't have the index of because we're iterating this way. Right. Okay. And then I guess for the column index, this one is a bit complicated. But here we're just capping the column index to so that you can't go past the end of the column, and you can't go like below 0. So we have to do something about this code right here. Position X plus glyph. Okay, so this is like if is line wrapping enabled, else do it the easy way. Maybe we should grab the line at this point. So okay, let's use this for each visual line guy. So here we had a rect and a string view. At least that's what I thought we did. Rect view. Oh, it's not const. This should have been a const function. That was a mistake. Okay. And then we'll say if rect contains position, that means that we are on this visual line. And we probably want to know like what's the starting index of this line. So that's something that we should pass along here as well. Starting line. Right. So for each visual line, Was that an int? No, it was an unsigned. Well, we can use an int because we use ints for everything else. Let's just use ints because this code uses ints everywhere and it's just going to make these yellow warnings stop popping up. I keep meaning to change this stuff around to use unsigned, but I'm also, it's not just that I keep meaning to do it, but I also keep postponing it because it's really tedious work. Okay, then we're on the right line here. We should also stop iterating at this point. So otherwise we'll return iteration decision continue. We should respect that down here. So if returns iteration decision break, then we break out. Otherwise we continue. Expected expression. Yeah, right. Okay. Column index is I guess it's this plus start of line. So maybe actually the trick is to write the code this way. And then what we have to do is just add the start of this line here. It's kind of awkward looking. I mean, it's so chunky, but it is what it is. We'll find better abstractions as we go, but I think we have something here. And then fix me. So I guess line wrapping enabled. I guess we should probably support that here too. It's just right aligned line wrapping. That's something we could do, but it's weird and it's not like something I'm gonna implement right now. So I'll just assert that it's not enabled. Hey guys. Okay. Let's assume all of that was good, and then now we have the first visible line and the last visible line. And then what we want to do now is we want to iterate over all the visible lines inside of this line. So we'll say for each visual line, construct visual line rect, visual line text, and start of visual line. I think maybe we're not going to need that one, but regardless, we'll put up here and like that. Okay. Line content direct. So for that, we're just going to use this instead. This will be the line rect. Okay. If it's the cursor line, this one is a bit tricky, but we'll get to that. Okay, and then we draw the text. We should really use this. And then the rest of it is selection. So I guess, I mean, we have to implement that too, but like, let's see what we have so far, because I guess now we have something that we could build. Start a visual line. Yeah, we might not need that one actually, like I was saying. Oh, well, that was a Dumbo mistake. Let's set line wrapping enabled. Shouldn't be const. That's just goofy, because then we can't change this. You don't like this? If callback. Okay, text editor. Right, it's here. We have to keep iterating. So I really like this pattern here that I'm using with the iteration decisions. Basically, the idea is that you make a for each helper function, and then when he invokes the callback, then he checks if the callback. Where did it go? If the callback returns iteration decision break. If so, it stops iterating in the helper function. It's very neat, but I wish that there was a way to that I would be able to like omit this, like the continue would always be implied, but I can't think of a way to do that. Because then I could only say when I want to break out of the iteration. But I mean, this is fine too. It's just kind of verbose. Okay, so let's try this file that I have here. Oh, look at that! It's completely screwed. All right. Well, I don't know what I was expecting. So let's see what we get here. First up, let's print out the visible lines that we computed. Visible lines. And then for each of these, physical line. Do something like this, and we'll say line rect, visual line text. Okay. And let's make a little command here just to rebuild this, because we're going to do this a few times, I'm thinking. And run, okay. Look at that, I am my own build system. Alright, so what do we get? Visible line 0, 0. Yeah, that didn't go well. Oh, shit. Is it because we never do the recompute visual lines thing? I guess that would be, oops, that's not a file that I have. Ah, damn it. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, this is definitely not working right. Okay, so let's see, recompute all. I guess we can do this. Recompute all visual lines. And visual line breaks. And we'll say available width. So just see what we can make here. All right, so this looks sane. And okay, and then we'll say computed. Wow, that's not good. Maybe the issue is that if we never find a line break, then it looks like we have no visual lines. So that's not right. So I guess the thing here is that we should we do one last pass? Is that how we do this? Visual rect. Well, we want, if there's just one line, then we still want that to be in here, so I guess we can put this at the very last character. Visual line breaks append. What's that? Visual line breaks. Append. Line -1. Does that make sense? And then some of those are going to be oh, this is very noisy, but okay. All right. So maybe that was the trick. To break after the thing. Yeah, there we go. Of course, it doesn't look quite right, but we'll get there. So let's see, pragma ones, blah, 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 blah. But I guess our problem now is that we the visible lines thing is not going well, so text position at, we gotta fix this guy. Found, let's see. Looking for position in m-i in visual rect. Just to see that we have some sanity here. I guess that's the cursor blinking. Okay, let's see. Let's do found. So that stuff is kind of working. That's cool. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So what is it that we want to find out here? Why doesn't it find anything for the other lines? That was very suspicious. Do we have some of that here? 594. Oh, because it's like outside of the width of this guy. So maybe we should only look at I guess the easiest way here is to just look at the y value and ignore the x value. So instead of using contains, we can just say I mean, this is basically the same thing, but do that, and then we'll say if rec.y, or no, if position.y is rec.y, this, or and position.y rec bottom. Yeah, because then we ignore the x value because there's padding and stuff, and we didn't subtract that here. All right, look at that. Now the whole file is on one line, it looks like, or at least the visible lines probably. So let's see, for each visual line, I feel like we're forgetting to update the y coordinate somehow. Let's see. For each visual line, blah 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 blah. So we can get rid of these. Visible lines 7 through 7. Wait, how does that make any sense? I'm confused. Zero through 24. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then the y coordinates are all fucked here because they all have the same y coordinate. So the visual rect, we're setting the y coordinate where exactly? I feel like maybe I forgot about that. Was it right in the middle of doing that, and then what happened? Visual rect. Wait, this is for each, and this is computing the line. Visual rect set y offset. But this is where it's supposed to increase. I feel like this didn't work the way I expected it. Recompute visual lines. Why is that But this doesn't take into account the individual ones. Because we have to start from the start of our rect. So here, this is the issue. That each line, when we call for each visual line, then we pass the rect for this line to the callback. but the y-coordinate of the rect is the y-coordinate within that visual line. It's not the y-coordinate globally, which is what we want. So here we'll add that. Yeah. There we go. Now it's starting to look more like it. And if we do this, then we get some breakage. It's pretty cool. It's extremely noisy back here, so let's see if we can calm that down a little bit. And of course now we lost this one. That's okay, let's see what we get. It's looking kind of cool, isn't it? Okay. What was that original file? The kernel map. Look at that, that's a big one. Oof. That's really cool. Of course, selection is all kinds of screwed up. And it's still possible to go sideways, even though if it's line wrapping, then we shouldn't support that. So let's see, scroll, update content size maybe. Let's see. Line width. It's all depending on this one. So here, let's say if mEditor is line wrapping enabled, or actually mEditor visible text tracking in coordinates with I think, yeah, because then we learned that actually there's not that much scrolling to be done. Still, you can still scroll one character though, that's not right. But I bet you that's just the padding we add here. How much is that? It's to 4 pixels. It's a little bit more than this. Oh, the cursor is all kinds of screwed. This is cool though. You can see the 8 here, and then it says 18 down here. That's all kinds of not right. So we got some things to fix. Let's see. Let's maybe start with the ruler stuff. So this thing here is the ruler. And this is where we paint it. Ruler line rect, ruler content rect. Wait, what is the ruler content rect? It's the line content rect. Well, this one we need to fix. So let's see, if is, I mean, actually we should make it so that the lines always know their content rect. This is if it's a single line text editor, then things work very differently, but in a multi-line editor, which we're using here, then the y-coordinate line content. Oh, well, actually, I guess we can do it this way. If is line wrapping enabled, then return line.m visual rect. Because that is the whole rect. What does that get us? Well, see, now they start to look kind of right. I mean, they look goofy. And things are all weird because your cursor doesn't know how to stay on the line after it wraps. And I bet you that if we make the line longer, oh, look how sluggish. There are things to fix here, that's for sure. So let's see, ruler rect. Where do we paint the ruler? So the ruler should be, instead of center right, it should probably be top right, which we don't have. Great. So we'll do top left for the moment, see what that looks like. Because we want it to be top aligned somehow. Yeah, this looks all kinds of wrong. Like obviously we want it to be right aligned with top right. So I guess we need to add a new kind of alignment. This is starting to spiral a little bit though, so let's see. Let's do a patch review to see what we have so far. This guy we can get rid of. Scope card. Okay, so here we just turn on line wrapping in the text editor app. Then recompute all visual lines. So recompute all visual lines should be a no op if we're not in line wrapping. Okay, just making sure. And then text position at, if line wrapping is enabled, then we do things this way. We iterate through all the lines, find one where the y coordinate is inside the rect, and choose that one. Okay, and then for left align text, which is the one that we implemented, we find the correct position by iterating through the visual lines and picking based on that. Let's see, text position at. Okay, I think that's fine for now. And then in the paint event, we do for each visual line. But what happens with this code if line wrapping is not enabled? So then if editor is line wrapping enabled, then we'll just do callback line content rect for this line, I guess. I don't know my line index. Crap. For each visual line. Okay, so should we just always compute these to make the code simpler, make it just one code path? Maybe that's better, because I'm thinking like we could like, because if you don't wrap, then you can do certain things a lot faster, right? More efficiently. But at the same time, it's probably better for the code if we have one path through it all the time, because that means that we're always running the same code. Because modes, like having different modes in code, it just doubles your potential for bugs. So let's try to avoid that. Recompute all visual lines. Okay, so recompute visual lines. Somebody's yelling outside. Let me just check who that is. It's one of my bird friends. I like to throw out a little piece of bread for my bird friends sometimes. So I'm just going to do that. Go. There you go. All right. Okay, so first thing, let's just turn off this feature. And then we'll see that things still work. Recompute visual lines. This one is going to be pretty easy, I think, because we are just going to say that if editor is line wrapping enabled. Right. Because otherwise we just end it here. Else visual wrapped is 0, 0. Is font width. What is the width here? We should have a way to get this as a string view, so we'll do like view. View. And editor line height. Okay. Okay, let's see that this still works. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's a little goofy, but it still works, more or less. Okay. Let's go from the bottom here. Okay, so we added a flag for if line wrapping is enabled. Recompute all visual lines, something you call that on the text editor whenever needed. And that causes us, so wait, hold on. Did it just become like super painful to edit a file? That's kind of painful, so that's definitely something that needs to be worked on. But we don't have to fix everything right now. It's okay to go slow when you're implementing something, but it has to get faster eventually. Oh man, what happened here? Okay, I don't want to change these in the in this patch, but okay, so for every line we now have an int vector of the visual line breaks and the rect for the whole line. Right, and then we're adding a view getter so that you can get the line contents as a string view. Okay, then here's that flag. Right, okay, so then we have line for each visual line where we iterate over all the visual line breaks within that line and pass them to a callback with a computed rectangle for this individual line so that you can paint or hit test or whatever you need to do. So that's cool. And then here, recompute visual lines. So we could probably make this go a bit better with, let's see here, recompute visual lines. Should use clear with capacity here, because clear, if you call clear on a vector, then it will throw away the underlying store. And actually, in fact, we know that these, we're usually going to have, we're definitely always going to have one, because there will always be the very last character. So you can put an inline capacity, which means that you can have this many entries without any malloc taking place. So this will be like the vast majority of lines are going to be like this, right? Which means that we can avoid malloc if we add an inline capacity. And then we can also use clear with capacity here, which means that we keep whatever capacity we already had when we clear, which means that we don't free and then re-malloc when we're done. So that's another way that we can avoid a bunch of mallocing here, because it got really sluggish there to edit these lines, and obviously we should do better and only recompute the visual lines that we actually need to recompute, but here's a way to like reduce the pain already by just not doing free malloc for every frickin' line. Okay, so the way recompute visual lines works is we get the available width from the widget, and then we just iterate through the whole line, figuring out where the line break should be. Like, we accumulate enough characters until we go past the available width, and then we say that's a break right there, and then we continue accumulating the next line. And then here at the end, if line wrapping is enabled, then the width of that text is the available width. Otherwise, the width is the length, like in pixels, of the line. Cool. And then recompute all visual lines. It just iterates over all the lines and computes the visual rect, and then positions those rects like stacked in relationship to each other. Right. And then we recompute them when we resize or when the editor content changes. Okay. Then line width is implemented in terms of visible text rect and inner coordinates. I think maybe we could always do this. Oh, wait, hold on. What am I trying to do here? This line wrapping enabled. What's this? Can't I just do m visual rect width? I feel like I could just do that. Because now we compute the width up front, so we don't need to do that here. Oh, some unrelated crash. A lot of unrelated crashes lately, but that's just the reality of the system right now. Oh, that's not the name of the file. It is early morning here, maybe you can tell. Wait, what is going on? Why doesn't it scroll? Okay, that seems like an unrelated problem, but I'm not sure if I'm causing it, so now I'm a bit spooked. Hello there. Let me see if I broke this, so. Yeah, okay, we definitely broke this. All right. Yes. Hello there. All right. Oop. Do not save. And I guess let's scroll position into view. This thing is not working right. Why is that? Scroll into view. And we'll say position and direct the recomputed for that position. We'll see what it tells us. Oh, wait, but it's not scrollable. Now it became scrollable. Now it works. Oh, shit. Okay. So the issue was just that the view was not scrollable for some reason, because the scroll bar was disabled. Update content size. So content size depends on line width. Right. So I was a little bit off here. I guess I can't do that with the line width at the moment. So dang it. All right, what was the previous implementation? Font width view. I think this will fix that. Let's just check it. So the idea is that the text editor is like a generic scrollable view, which is helper widget that provides these like vertical and horizontal scroll bars. And then when you use this type of widget, then there's a concept of like the content size, and the content size is the size of everything that's scrollable. And then we have to compute our content size and tell the view how big we think we are, basically. And that's what update content size does. So this update content size computes that, our idea of how big the text content is, and then it calls set content size, which is a gscrollable widget function. So this is all a little bit confusing. I'm still working out what the right abstractions are, but it's working pretty well so far because like the scrollable widget abstraction is used both by table views and tree views and text editor, and so that's nice. It's nice to have something where you can get scrolling implemented for free, but it does need a little bit of work, I think. Anyway, so let's see, paint event. For each visual line. Draw the text. Okay, so I think we are gonna commit at this point to what we have of the feature, and then we'll continue working on it. Because otherwise it will get really muddy. Start working on a line wrapping feature. This is not finished, but the feature lives. Since the feature is controlled by a runtime, I'm committing it anyways. Broken implementation should not affect users of this widget too much in theory. Okay. You know, that's like the perfect place for one of those. All right. So let's see. One thing I noticed is that I noticed that the cursor is not looking right. Oh, damn it! I keep messing that up. Now the whole thing is disabled, but like you can see the cursor is like not in the right position. It's like too far to the right, but it's not the cursor's fault. It's the text that's too far to the left, I think. So we need to be shoving the text a little bit to the right. I think because the horizontal padding is missing. So horizontal content padding, 2 pixels. Yeah, so we need to be adding this somewhere. I think actually it should be here in the visual line stuff. Visual wrapped. Crap. Wait, hold on. This thing, does that include padding? It includes the padding. Text and inner coordinates. So the available width already takes into account the horizontal padding. Then we need to be adding that to ourselves here. Can we get to that? I guess maybe we can. Maybe it's that simple. The padding in the text editor is something that it's driving me crazy sometimes because like things are just not quite right. So now we're adding the padding back in, And yeah, as you can see, the cursor is in the right position. So things are looking the way that they're supposed to. So that's good. Okay, let's commit that. Take horizontal padding into account for line visual rects. Okay. Now, where the heck were we with that feature? Okay, so let's put the thing back on. Okay, right. So maybe I'll just ignore these and implement top right aligned text painting some other time, because I don't feel like being distracted by that right now. But one thing that we need to do here is fix the cursor so that the cursor can go like wrapped, basically, because that looks all kinds of wrong. yeah, all kinds of crazy here. So cursor rect. Where do we compute the cursor rect? Where do we paint it? Here, we paint the cursor content rect. Content rect for position. So this is supposed to return a 1 pixel wide rectangle in the content coordinate space. So how do we do that? I guess here we need to figure out the real line for this. So should we just do it the way that we do the hit testing? Or no, we can do we know the line already, right? And lines position dot line. And then for each visual line. Let's see, rect. Generation decision continue. What did this thing give us again? It was the visual line rect and the string view with the text in it, and then the start of visual line, because this is interesting here, right? Because now we can say if start of visual line, or if position.column is like that, then this is the one that we want. So rect is equal to visual line rect. I mean, no, but that's where we want to start it from. So I guess we want to compute the x value. Let's do it. Let's see. Visual line rect dot x plus position.column times or no, hold on, it's the content x for position. Oh, we already have that. We have it up here. Oops, sorry about that. We already have the x. Y1 and the line height. Could that be it? Oh, no, that's not it, because we have a break here. I mean, we could keep going, but then we would have the wrong thing, because as soon as we get past the right line, then we use that visual line as the basis for the recomputation. So let's see. Whoop. Oh, that's all kinds wrong. Still not quite right here. No, it's not working right. Oh, hey, wait, hold on. This thing is not working right. Content X for position. We gotta fix this up. Okay, so between position column times cliff width. See, that's just not right. We have to find the line that we're on. So this is the way that we do that. X is position column minus started visual line times glyph width plus X. We'll just do that. Yeah, because this is only about computing the X value. So then return iteration division break. Continue. Right. We can call this like X offset. And what we're doing down here, content X for position. Right, yeah. So this is like not super efficient because none of this is super efficient. So we're gonna have to do some, or I'm gonna have to do some cleanup of all this stuff eventually, but one thing at a time. Can I get some? No, still no coolness for that. Okay. I'll just print these out here so we can see what we're working with at least. Sometimes I just feel like I need to see the values just to make sure that things are remotely sane. Yeah, it just keeps going to the right. That's not correct. For each visual line, if position column is greater than or equals start of line, Why didn't that work? Position starting, something like that. This might get very noisy. I think it's not terribly noisy actually. Yeah, just keep going and it just finds it at 0 every time because I'm such a huge idiot. Yeah, of course the column is greater than 0 and the first one starts at 0. Right. And so my arch nemesis, simple arithmetic. Why do I always black out on this? So what we want to do is when the position column is past the start of the visual line, So I guess what we actually want is to find the column where we cross over. So if start of visual line is greater than position column, then we want the previous line. Is this what we want? Oh, wait. What am I doing? And position dot column minus start of visual line is less than dot line. Yeah, okay. So now we're crossing over. I still don't see anything. Why is it not updating? Let's see, update cursor. Maybe that's something stupid about that. Line widget, right? Yeah, right. So maybe we're doing a partial invalidation here, which is not working out. Line content rect. What if we just update the whole thing? Let's see how that works. Man, I'm really screwing over all of the like the partial invalidation optimizations in text editor right now. What are you gonna do? Oh, the X value keeps going up. So we have to subtract. Content X for position. Oh, did I mess that up here? It's the same exact problem. So content X for position needs to do exactly the same thing, right? So basically, instead of like trying to compute when we go past that line, we just check, are we within that visual line? That's much easier. I just tripped myself up there. Okay, see, now we are cursoring on the second line. How cool is that? Of course, things don't look entirely right, and it's all confused, but at least we're making some progress here, because now we can cursor into the second line of a wrapped line. Oof, look at that shit. Okay. Now the cursor's looking all wrong again. Why is that? Content X for position. Because now content X for position adds the padding. Horizontal content padding. Where was I adding this? Recompute visual lines, right? So I think this much is right now. Content right for position. When we draw the cursor, then I constantly keep forgetting how this works. So this is drawing the cursor. Fill rect, cursor content rect. Content rect for position. X is, oh, see here, we're adding the X to the visual line rect, and the visual line rect already has the padding. So here we have to subtract that. We had to subtract here, since it's part of the visual line rect and part of included in what we get from content X for position. Okay, I don't love that, but at least it's good to have a comment explaining why, and then hopefully we can get rid of that somehow at some point in some way with some better abstraction. But this should put the cursor in the right position at least. Yeah, now that's looking cool. We can edit, cause new line breaks to occur. And then, yeah, shit, it doesn't actually repaint until we trigger that. Okay, so maybe now we should commit this. So let's see, what did we do here? We changed content X for position to work with broken up lines, and same thing with content rect for position. Text editor. Fix computing content x rect values. This makes the cursor actually get painted on the right visual line when in line wrapping mode. Okay, that's good. And then let's see what we can do about the selection. So paint event. How does this work? So if there's selection on this line, but we don't know if it's on this visual line. And then, yeah, so this is all broken here, so we gotta fix this up. First thing is that we should not be drawing this other piece of text. So let's see. Line has selection. If we have a selection and the selection is if I is within this and within that. But that's just a line number. So we gotta look at the closer at the visual line number as well. So we have a selection if, I mean the line has a selection, but does the visual line have a selection? Right, so as we can call it physical line of selection. Then this, what determines this? I guess so. Start a visual line. If selection dot start. Wait, what is the selection anyway? Selection is the normalized selection. Okay, that's good. Normalized selection means that it doesn't matter if the selection starts on the left or right and ends on the left or right, because normalized always puts the leftmost position as the starting position. So it just helps you do stuff like this, like where you just use the selection from start to end and you can assume that start is to the left of end always. It's helpful. If start dot column let's see, if I is less than selection start, it's greater than the start of the selection. And this one is kind of weirdly named here, so maybe we'll rename that to line index. If line index is greater than the start line, wait, how does this even work? Start line. Maybe what we need is, what the hell do we need? first thing we need to know is what, the start column on the line and the end column on the line. We got to compute those. And it's either the whole line or part of the line, depending on if the selection starts on this line or if it starts on another line, right? So here we want to know, does the selection start on this visual line? And does it end on this visual line? That's what I say. How do we compute that? Well, it has to be this line index, and I guess we should compute we should just compute the start and the end visual line of the selection. Why is this tripping me up so much? Maybe we should do that up here. Okay. Why is this so difficult in my brain right now? If physical line has selection and if line index or selection start line is less than line index, starts on visual line 0. Else, we gotta compute it. Okay. It's greater than wait, hold on. Is this logic again? Selection start column. Duration decision break. Otherwise, visual line index plus plus. Okay. So now, is that how we do that? Compute visual line that it should be on? I guess so. Selection start visual line. And then, oh god, this is so horrible. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this. Forgive me. This definitely needs to be not so duplicated. Wait, no, hold on. Here, right? Right. Then selection start visual line is the same as the visual line index. Start colon on line. Well, we'll start with this and we'll see how this works out. Visual line text dot length. Line start visual. Oh shit, but no. This is supposed to be, we're still in line things here. We're not in visual line numbers, but we're in a physical line. So selection start column on the visual line, right? Selection left, selection right, okay. And then we want to paint the visual line text characters plus selection start column on line minus start of visual line. Oh god, this is so weird. Characters without null termination, actually, yeah. Line length minus selection start column on line. What? This is where we start the selection, right? I guess we can just do it this way, actually. Oh god, that looks so ass. Start column on line minus the start of visual line, right? And then end column on line. Wait, what we want here is the width of the selection on this line. And the length is the visual line text dot length minus the this is so confusing. say visual selection. Selection end column online minus start of visual line. Okay, visual selection start. And then here, this is the visual selection start minus visual selection end. Does this make sense? I feel like I got like dizzy writing this right now, so I'm not even sure what's what anymore. Well, I would say that the selection rect is working fine, but the text is showing up in the wrong place up here. Selection rect. Line rect. .y. Wait, how does this make any sense? Drawing white text. Line rect Y. Why is it showing up at the top of the screen? That's weird. I guess we'll just dump out the selection rect here. And we can also make a string view, visual selected text. Minus. Oh, this is really weird. Why isn't it just visual selection and minus visual selection start? Because that's how long the visual selected text is. Oh. Okay, let's look at those rectangles. It's drawing up there. Oh, here's some white text. Man, it's getting so confused. Like, none of these have crazy, I mean, the minus one is a little sketchy. What the hell is that? Physical line has selection. Oh, I guess if this line doesn't have selection on it, then we shouldn't be doing this. Selection, start column on line. Visual line has selection is. And selection and visual line is visual line index. And I don't know why I wrote it like this, because that's not how I want to write this. Okay, it's just getting more and more messy here, but we'll just keep going. If you're still here, then hi. Well, we'll keep going. Let's see what we got here. All right. Look at that. The rect is right, but the content is all wrong. See, when we do it this way, then it looks right. Go backwards is cool. Oh, is it when it spans multiple lines? Then we get confused? Seems like we get confused about that. Yeah, okay, so I guess the issue is when it spans multiple visual lines. Okay, I got myself some new tea here. Let's continue. So let's print these out. Let's print out what we have. So visual rect with selection. Selection rect. Let's see. Oh, we don't have to say all this gunk. Let's just say hello. Can do that. Just something to recognize it by. Whatever. Visual. Selected text. Well, we'll put that last because it will be non-uniform. Maybe just that to begin with, actually. And come over here. All right. See, now it gets all confused. Because I selected this part, IPes, here, but I didn't select all of that. IPE. I just want IPes. But it gets totally confused. All right. So I guess visual selection, start column online. Let's just print out more of this stuff. This is going to be my longest video ever. Who would have thought that line wrapping was the thing that would take the longest? Alright, so what do we got here? Selection on line, 28, 29, that's good. 28, 30. See, I would have expected it to just do 28, 31. So things got all weird there. So I guess this was maybe fine the way it was, actually. Now we can actually compute these outside. Visual line, blah, blah, blah. All right, come here, you jerk. File system. Alright, well, the selection on line is correct now, but now we lost the wrapping behavior, so content X for position, select start column on line, select end column on line. I think these are good. Or are they? Did we get correct behavior if we wrap? I didn't check for that. Yes, we can select on a wrap part. It's just when it spans multiple, then we screw it up. Right. Okay, okay. Let's have a look at this then. Well, those numbers are all screwy. Why are these numbers negative? -9. See, I bet you that's that's what's causing us the trouble. So in here it works just fine. Visual selection is good. But then we get a negative number. Why? Well, visual selection start is the start column on the line minus the start of the visual line. So we should look at that too. It's funny how this basically feels like I'm just testing another Linux desktop application. Like, it doesn't matter to me that it's inside a different operating system. Makes, I mean, like in terms of startup time and everything, it's so fast that I can barely tell the difference. Right, visual selection of visual line, 0 through 1. Well, that's correct. So your selection of visual lines -1, that's fine. And 0 through 1, that's correct. So we have a visual line computed, right? I mean, these two are right. Oh, right, but this thing keeps increasing. Visual selection start. So I guess I got these wrong here. Start column online is minus the start visual line. But if it's less than 0, then we just want to do like that. I think that would make sense, because otherwise we end up in a very strange position. So visual selection. Now that looks right, but we don't draw the rectangle. Why don't we draw the rectangle? Because we have all the right info to here. But the width of these is totally screwed. Selection rect. And his width is selection right minus selection left. Selection start column online. Right, but this only makes sense for the oh yeah, right. So this only makes sense on the first and last visual line that it occurs on. So let's see. That's the selection start visual line. Visual line index is selection start visual line. Okay, wait, let's do it differently. Let's do it this way. If visual line index is selection start visual line, then selection left is this. Otherwise, it's just 0. And then same thing goes for selection end. Selection right is the visual line visual the line rect with right. This thing should be called visual line rect because it's freaking confusing that it's called line rect. Alright, come here now. You big jerk. Here we go. And oh, look at that. It's kind of cute if you go past the end, but it still doesn't work. Now it works for this case, but not for this case? How weird is that? And we have all this garbage at the top of the screen. Why does it get so confused? So weird. Okay, well. So, let's see. H, and then dit, and then what? Selection on line 0 through 4. Well, this is all noisy now, but why are we up here again? Visual. Okay, we gotta calm down with this debug output because I can't read all this at the same time. We're gonna work all this out, don't worry. Okay, we went past the end. Can we stop updating the cursor maybe? Time better. We'll just stop drawing the cursor because it's slightly annoying that it keeps updating like that. Wait a minute, it's still doing it. Oh, because I didn't recompile. Starting to get a little absent-minded here. This is dragging on for a while, but we'll keep going. So I guess we are definitely miscomputing whether or not we should have selection. So I guess physical line has selections. This is probably true. But then I guess, I mean, this should definitely be true for those lines that we have selection on. But then we somehow determined that we don't have visual selection, so visual line index. Greater than or equal. x is less than, or so if we're not on the start or end line of the selection, then we wait, how does this work? Yeah. No, it's not what I wanted. Physical. Okay, let's start from the top and we'll see. We'll just select everything. What do we get? Yeah, so everyone thinks that they have selection on them. That's correct. But then they get painted totally weirdly. And this is the width of these selection rects, which is totally screwed. Okay. Okay, I'll say okay, we gotta look at these values. select everything and then let's go from here. Let's see, did update selection. I feel like when I'm going right, I'm updating the selection set and did update selection. Why doesn't it repaint more? Let's just be lazy here and say if is line wrapping. Because this is tripping me up, I think, that we're not repainting everything. Because we're not getting all the output that I want to see. Well, that's really weird. When we go past the end of those visual lines, then they suddenly become selected. Oh. So the selection only shows up if we have selection on the current line is past the end of the line that we're looking at. So that's totally not right. Good God, this is getting so big and clunky. I bet this could be done in such a much easier way, but I'm kind of blinded right now. Let's see. So why is it that when we go past the end, then we suddenly paint the previous line? I guess because the previous line, visual line index is selection and visual line. So for instance, for the line that says weakable, we got it right here. It's 215, right to 17, but when we shrink, then now the weakable right is 1. Oh. So the right computation here is not very good. Visual line index selection left. So I would have just thought that I guess we can put some more stuff here. So we'll say visual line index. That's such a big clue there, so we gotta use that clue. Do what's wrong. Okay, so let's do a little bit of this. Okay, so g.h has a negative. The right is 1, cell is 0, 0. When we go past it, cell is 0 dash 1. Visual line index. So selection end visual line, selection start visual line. So basically, we think that we don't have any selection within this physical line until we get past the end here. That's when we start thinking, oh, actually, we visual lines 0 through 1 are selected within this physical line. So it would seem that this is not computed entirely correctly. Selection end visual line. Selection end line is less than line index. Wait a minute. Shouldn't it be like that? If selection ends past this line index, then the end visual line should be the last visual line that we have. So line dot end visual line breaks dot size. Maybe -1 actually. Because if we're ending, the selection ends after that line, then we should select the whole thing. Oh, that didn't work. So we're still doing the thing. So that's .h, tap, tap. What was I even trying to compute here? The first visual line within this one that has the selection on it. That's here, and then the ending visual line here. God damn, this is getting kind of ugly. I'm getting a little bit tired of how ugly this is. Start visual line. Maybe I didn't do that right. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, look at that. Okay. All right. Well, suddenly things start to feel a lot more reasonable, don't they? Okay, let's see what happens if we do this. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, there's a subtle glitch there. You can see that the text moves a little bit. I guess we're forgetting the padding somewhere. Damn. Okay, the selection rect is based on selection left, which is the content X or 0. So actually here we should do horizontal padding. Because the visual line rect already takes the padding into account on the right hand side, but on the left we can't just do 0, we have to include the padding. Okay, so let's do that, and then still doesn't look right. No, it's moving the thing. Why is that? Selection left. I mean, actually, let me look at the debug output, because it probably would tell me what to look at. So, So the C here. See here that this rectangle XXX is 0. But in this case, it starts with 2. So why does that rect start at 0? Content X for position. This one will always include the padding. Selection rect, selection right, selection right, selection left. So we had this one that started at 0. Selection left was 0. Wasn't this correct though? I feel like this is the right way to do it. Please tell me that I just miscompiled or something, because I feel like I had the right idea here. Yeah, see, it was the right idea. Oh, alright, so I just miscompiled or something, I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired and confused here. Wow, so this code is actually working. Frickin' finally, right? Oh, what's this? So like scrolling the selection into view is confusing. Why are we scrolling to 0, 0 sometimes? Okay, I have to stop somewhere, and I think we're gonna stop here, because it's getting reasonably functional now, and I think the last thing we should do is just turn it off and see that things still work. So let's say false. You can kind of see that. Oh, that's an irritating behavior. We get to 0, 0 sometimes. I have to figure out what that is. Oh, I guess it's when you end up on an empty line that's what seems to happen. But I don't have to work that out right now. Or do I? Oh, frick. I guess I kind of do. Alright, fine. Scroll position into view. I wonder how long this is going to go for. Like, are we going to get to 3 hours? Who knows? Didn't upload yesterday, so I guess this is what I get. I was just saving up all my energy for this video. Set X, scroll position into view. Alright, let's just say position and rect. So I'm guessing that we are computing a goofy rect. Oh, we got some assertion here. I don't know what that is about. Sometimes we assert in like etc pass wd file reading and startup. I wonder what that's about. It's always in Windows Server too. I think it's probably threading related, but I haven't looked too closely. Tap right there. Okay, so 26, 0 ends up with this rectangle, which is totally wrong. I mean, the X value is good. Content rect for position. Okay, position column. Greater than or equal, and view length. Maybe we should tolerate that because it's an empty line. Yeah, there we go. We just need to tolerate that. Okay, well, that means that I probably had this wrong in those other places where I did this. Which was just that one other place. Alright, alright. Scroll into view. And just delete that debug output. Okay. Okay, things are working the way that we are used to again. Cool. And of course, this works. Very nice. Alright, so let's just not commit this change to the text editor app just yet. But we'll just commit the feature to flip GUI on timer event. We should probably put back on. Yeah. Did update selection. Okay. So what the hell did we do here? We wrote this big hunk of gunk, and then we fixed these guys to include the last character on the line or the last column. And then also here, when we update the selection, then we repaint the whole widget if we are in line wrapping mode, because we have a bunch of things like that to figure out. So let's see, did update selection fix me? Try to invalid repaint this. Okay. Okay. Getting dizzy just looking at this stuff. So let's just rehash how it works. So when we, first thing we compute is whether or not the physical line has selection on it. If so, we go in here and we compute the first visual line within this line that has selection on it. So let's see, selection start visual line, because these names are kind of shit. So first visual line with selection. Okay. Selection start column on line. That one's not so bad. Selection start column, maybe we'll call that within line. Visual line index, that's fine. Let's see here. Visual line index is first visual line with selection. I guess we can write these like this. Wait, hold on. Can we make this more readable somehow? Because it's so freaking unreadable. Call it that. Like that. Okay, then visual line has selection. That's This is a nice use of ternary operator, I would say. Makes this a little more understandable. Okay. We can do this one, break this one up into lines like this. Okay. Visual selection start should be like start of selection on visual line. All right. Still a bit messy, but I mean, it's still very messy. This code up here it's just so gunky, but I'm not gonna fix everything in the world in one day, so we're good. All right, I'm gonna say that's good enough for me. Text editor. Implement selection painting. Line for in the world line wrapping mode. This code needs some cleanup, but it's basically it's finally in a working state. So here it goes. Guess we can say a little bit more here. I can say that each line, each physical line is to expand a bit on how the line wrapping works. Each physical line of text, multiple visual lines. This happens when the document changes or when the widget is resized. This is recomputed. Each text editor line keeps track of the line, line break, the visual break points, I guess. Breaking points. And also their visual rect in content coordinates. This allows us to do painting and hit testing reasonably efficiently. because we can do a lot better, but it's a start. All right. Oof. Okay, so I guess for that final demo, we should really turn the feature on again, actually. So, where are you? Indentation. True. Let's turn this crap on and have a last look at it. Oh, very cool. Okay, so basic line wrapping, it's here. So if you made it this far, then I'm not sure I believe you, but I applaud your commitment to hanging out, and I thank you for it. And I guess that I will say that I hope you saw something interesting here, whatever that was, and well, yeah, thanks for hanging out. And welcome to all the new subscribers who showed up yesterday, wherever you came from. And I will see you next time. Bye. I'm so tired.